more. Houston Morning News with Matt Patrick now.
KTRH News Time. Oh, yes. Dios, my darling. Congressman Lamar Smith joining us here this morning. Congressman, as I mentioned before, we always like to have a little musical accompaniment, especially on a Monday. Congressman, thanks so much for joining us. The Congressman has initiated the HALT Act, introduced it, and this is an act that would hinder the administration's legalization temptation, as the Congressman has put together the acronym, and I love that. And as expected, Congressman, you're getting a tremendous amount of pushback, and much of that pushback is coming from Democrats right here in the state of Texas, including one of our favorites, Sheila Jackson Lee.
Well, no surprise that the Democrats would push back. They're all in league with the president, of course. They want mass amnesty, and we have a half a dozen quotes from members of Democrats in Congress as to why they want amnesty, and it's because they think they can register a lot more Democratic votes. But what they've...
KTRH News Time is 6:16. My darling. Joining us right now in Houston's Morning News is Republican Congressman from San Antonio, Lamar Smith. Congressman, welcome to Houston's Morning News. We always like to put a little music underneath all of our guests here. We try and find appropriate musical numbers.
Right. It is Matt, good to be with you and your listeners as well.
Thank you very much. All right, explain to me, Congressman, this HALT Act. It is a bill that has been sponsored by yourself and also Senator David Vitter from Louisiana.
Right.
Explain to me, it is the hinder the administration's legalization temptation. Now, I really like the name of that. Did you come up with that yourself?
Yeah, I have to confess, we did come up with that acronym on purpose because we wanted to halt the administration's efforts to try to undertake this backdoor amnesty. And basically, the head of ICE, the head of the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Office, put out a memo saying basically exercise prosecutorial discretion and don't deport all these. It could add up to a couple of million people or more.
Right. Now, we've seen record numbers of deportations from the United States back to where these folks are from, whether it be Mexico or other countries. A lot of that initiated under the Bush administration. You believe that the Obama administration is doing everything they can to kind of put the brakes on that, right?
Yeah, I do. And there was an uptick in deportations, but when you compare it to the past administration, don't forget the past administration favored amnesty as well, which is contrary to what the American people want. But this administration is sort of abusing the power that they have and what they can't accomplish with legislation, what they can't accomplish with a majority of votes in Congress. They're basically engaging in a backdoor amnesty and sending the message, which is the wrong message to send, that unless you committed a particularly egregious crime, you don't have that much to worry about. And that is not the message we want. It will encourage more illegal immigration. But beside that, and maybe most importantly, the administration should not be picking and choosing what laws it wants to enforce. It is obligated to enforce all immigration laws.
And we've seen the administration pick winners before in lots of different arenas. All right, Congressman, hang on one second. When we come back, I know you're getting some pushback from this, as I'm sure you expected, but what's interesting is some of the pushback that you're getting is from of your constituents right here in the state of Texas, and we'll talk about that in just a second.
Criticized me for is saying that, well, Lamar, you favor prosecutorial discretion, and in the past you said that you have, but the prosecutorial discretion I favor is on a case-by-case basis dealing with legal immigrants, not wholesale amnesty for illegal immigrants and groups of illegal immigrants. So, but this is not unusual. The administration and a lot of my colleagues like to gloss over the difference between legal and illegal immigrants. And to me, there's a huge difference between those who have played by the rules and waited their turn and come in the right way, and those who have ignored our laws, cut in front of the line, and are taking advantage of either the taxpayer or displacing American workers. So there's a huge difference between giving case-by-case prosecutorial discretion to legal immigrants and then giving backdoor amnesty to large groups of illegal immigrants to the tune of perhaps several million people.
And you have, in defending the HALT Act, saying that it was necessary, you pointed to the GAO's study that finds that less than 44% of the border is under the the operation of the Border Patrol. Less than 44%, Congressman.
Last I heard, less than 44% was a failing grade. And it's amazing. And this is a credible nonpartisan organization, GAO, saying that only 44% of the borders under operational control. That came out a week after our Secretary of Homeland Security, Secretary Napolitano, said we've got the safest border ever, the most secure border ever. So a little bit of bad timing, I think, on her part. But when over half the border is not secure, we've got major problems with illegal trafficking, illegal drugs, illegal smuggling, and everything else that goes with those kinds of non-secure borders.
Congressman Lamar Smith joining us. I just have a few seconds left, but Congressman, I'd be remiss in my duties if I didn't ask you just real quick, going to the debt talks here. We going to have a deal before August 2nd? We've got 8 days and we're counting, yes?
The answer is yes, but nothing gets done around here until there's a deadline, and whatever the perceived deadline is, you can count on a few hours before that a deal being reached.
So the 11th hour, and in the meantime, our 401ks are getting decimated here this morning.
Well, yes, and I think there'll be an agreement before that, because you can't wait that long. The financial markets would not collapse, but drop precipitously, I think. So look for a deal coming up, I'd say, in the next day or so.
Congressman, I thank you for your time this early Monday morning. Continue your good work in Washington, and we'll continue to keep in touch with you. Thanks so much.
Thanks very much.
All right, Congressman Lamar Smith joining us here this morning.